Hey, good evening, everybody. Dave Owens once again, and welcome back to Becoming Fort Washington City Part 4, the fun part. We're going to talk about some economic development here tonight. If you haven't been with us, go back and check out our previous posts on parts 1, 2, and 3. In part 1, we talked about the fiscal constraints of county government and how city governments can really help solve some of those problems. Strong city governments can help solve those problems. In part 2, we started to demystify taxes and focus on explaining how your county taxes get lowered when you become an incorporated or your own city. And then in part 3, we took a specific example, Fort Washington City, and we started to break down what our tax proposal would be there and how that would impact your taxes. For some, taxes would actually even go down. And so, again, go back and check out parts 1, 2, and 3 because I think all of that coming together gets us to part 4, which is where we are here tonight. This is the good stuff here. Part 4 is the economic development proposal, our thoughts, because if you're going to do this, it is really important that there is an element of economic development so that the citizens themselves are not the primary burden when it comes to property tax revenue paying for services. You've got to come up with a way to create economic development in your area that is not being done right now in the Maryland 210 corridor, the Fort Washington area. So we're going to talk about that here tonight. So that's going to be part 4. We'll rip through these, I think, in pretty good time here. So the first thing that we're going to do, the first step here is to create a Maryland 210 Economic Development Coalition. That is the first thing that we want to do. And what that is a group of stakeholders or champions that are interested in creating a Fort Washington, and we call it a micro downtown business and residential district, but a Fort Washington that's got an economy that's got a robust or a more robust than we have right now business community that is bringing us a viable commercial tax base. We want to look at how we can do that, how we can bring that to the Fort Washington area. We want that business community to not compete with regional retail and commercial centers like National Harbor. We want it to complement it. I mean, we can work together with National Harbor or National View that will be built just north of the Beltway in Forest Heights. So, how can we all kind of work together to benefit all of those entities and create a viable economic development plan? That's what we want to look at with this coalition. And again, what this really does is create a commercial property tax base that is not in existence right now, and it's one of the issues that we have here in Prince George's County. So that's what we're looking at doing. And while we're at it, that's not all we're looking to do, but while we're looking at that commercial property tax portion of it, we don't want to forget the things that we currently have here in the Fort Washington community and the region around it. This area has got great trails, Henson Creek Trail. It's got great historical sites, Fort Washington, Fort Foote. It's got what I would call, just natural preservation, Broad Creek Historic District, rural residential, building. I think all of those things are special. I think we need to continue to try to keep that, but balance that with an economic development plan that brings commerce to the area that can then drive up some of that commercial property tax base. So that's what we're looking to do with this Maryland 210 Economic Development Coalition. Here's some specific actions, and they're no particular order, but we just started to write these things down, and these are some specific actions that we want to take. Number one, in 2026, we're going to have a meeting with stakeholders, and we're going to start to brainstorm, how we can create this economic development plan and create economy in the Fort Washington / Maryland 210 corridor, excuse me. That meeting is going to include people from the business community. And when I say business community, I mean people like Adventist Healthcare, excuse me, Adventist Healthcare, Fort Washington Medical Center. There's some real estate firms that we've reached out to that have voiced interest in being a part of it, community organizations, HOAs, and government partners as well. Excuse my phone and text dinging there, but we're going to keep pushing on. So yeah, I mean, we're looking to do that in 2026 to start really brainstorming on how we want to do this. And there is interest in this happening. So we're hoping that community residents will want to be a part of this as well. Second thing we want to do, and again, this is in no particular strategy, no particular order, but we'll just call this number 2 for lack of a better word. Creating an advocacy strategy for Adventist Healthcare Fort Washington Medical Center Hospital Campus is critical. Not because they're the greatest hospital that was ever built. It's a very solid hospital, to be honest with you, but that's not really the point. They want to be here. They want to expand into a hospital campus. That will bring more workforce density to the area, which will also help attract in retail diversity and, most importantly, commercial tax property tax revenue. Excuse me. So, having a major employer that wants to be in the area is really important. And so creating an advocacy strategy around making sure that county and state dollars don't get cut from the budget to support that is really important. And by the way, Fort Washington Medical Center, Adventist Healthcare, a really solid hospital. They do really good life-saving work. The reputation has not always been there from the community, but that is something they're working on, and I think that's important. They do good work there. So third on our list, discussing a way, and we want to get National Harbor to the table, and have them be part of this discussion and pull them sort of out of their enclave, so to speak, and figure out a way that we can work with National Harbor to create a business community that complements National Harbor. It doesn't compete with National Harbor. It doesn't stand as something that is in their way from doing what they want to do, but working with them so that when people come to National Harbor, whether you are someone coming there for a convention, whether you're a family and your kid is playing in a tournament there at the Gaylord, or you're staying at the hotel and you're a tourist going to DC or whatever, whatever the reasons are, there's a lot of people on National Harbor, especially as you get through the spring and in the summer months. But people who go there should be able to know about and take a shuttle to Fort Washington, which is right down the street, Henson Creek Trail, taking advantage of the parks and the marinas that are in Fort Washington, Harmony Hall. They do concerts at Harmony Hall. Living Stables right along Livingston Road there, Tucker Ice Arena, and on and on and on. I mean, you could play golf at a variety of golf courses. And so figuring out a way to work with National Harbor so that there is a connective thread between National Harbor and Fort Washington, and creating this micro downtown perspective where we're not competing with them, we are complementing, and then figuring out a way that we all benefit from that. And so not just these areas that we have right here, but also some of the other areas we have. The commercial centers that we have, Rosecroft Shopping Center, the shops at Livingston Square, and on and on and on. How do we work together with National Harbor, who is expanding all the time? We have space for it. They need space. We have space. It feels like it's a match that we need to at least look at scratching the surface to see if we can make that work. And so as I go backwards now, back to that previous slide, that's why we say discussing strategies with National Harbor that result in a Fort Washington business community that complements and doesn't compete with National Harbor. And trying to, that bullet below, how do we find and allocate funding that renovates some of these spaces and then through shared revenue arrangements makes it beneficial for everybody. And so that's what we want the Economic Development Coalition to do. Some other specific actions: purchasing Fort Washington Marina and Rosecroft Raceway and renovating it into a space that increases resident property values. Now, I'm sure some of you might think about that and say, wow, that's ambitious. Yeah, let's be ambitious. And what we don't want is we don't want someone else to come and take over those spaces and then utilize it for something that might not be to the betterment of local citizens. Those are two areas, Fort Washington Marina and Rosecroft Raceway, that are prime pieces of real estate that we feel can be renovated into space that is used to increase property values for citizens. Also, the land behind District 7 Police Station, and there's also some land, some available developable, that's a mouthful, developable space along Maryland 210 that we want to look at and see how can those spaces be used to build the capacity for an Adventist healthcare hospital campus. Again, Adventist Healthcare wants to be here. They want to employ. They want to help health outcomes. That is a major industry that we need to tap into and take advantage of, whether you go to that hospital or not. Okay. And so, all in all, what this economic development strategy and thought really is trying to take all of these different assets that are in our area already and figuring out a way to connect and complement them. Right now, that's not being done. These assets are here. Some of them certainly need to be renovated, but that's okay. We want to start the discussion and drive in a proactive way. How do we drive energy to make that happen? We could do it. It's not being done right now. And so we want to, through this coalition, start to do just that. So our schedule is we're going to continue to identify coalition partners for the economic development piece. We've talked to some already who are interested, so we're going to continue to collect those. As we get into 2026, we're going to have a meeting to kick this thing off and do all those things you see right there. Developing a vision, looking at what are some of the developable land spaces. And then we want to continue to connect with the community and engage them in what we're doing. And we want them to work with us. So that's the plan from now into 2026. And overall, when you look at now the four pieces to becoming Fort Washington City, right now, we continue to meet on a monthly basis. We're continuing to take on committee members. We're creating a petition strategy as we get into 2026, because if you're going to become a city, you have to fill out a certain amount of petitions. And so we want to do that in 2026. And we're going to continue to engage with the community, which we are doing now virtually, but also we do a lot of this stuff face-to-face with HOAs and civic associations as well. If you are interested in helping us, on this journey, helping us, as you see here, shape our next moves, well, shoot me an email to that email address right there, visionarymediaprod@gmail.com. We are really excited about where we're going. We're really excited about the people that we've talked to, and we're going to continue on this journey. So those are the four parts to this puzzle of self-governance in Fort Washington. Again, part one, we talked about the fiscal constraints of county government and how strong city governments can help solve those problems or help try to solve those problems. Part two, we began to break down taxes and how your county taxes actually can go down when you become a city. We took you through some of those examples there. In part three, we gave you some specifics to Fort Washington, what our tax proposal was, what our services proposal was, and how that's going to impact your taxes. Go back and take a look at part three. And then part four, we just finished up the economic development proposal. So there you have it. We hope that this was helpful. We're going to continue to do our community engagements virtually and face to face. Appreciate your time, everybody, and we'll keep talking to you. And I hope to see you soon at one of our engagement sessions. Have a good night.